I'm in a trade right now.
Oh, did you press sell, bro?
Yeah, I did.
I was too busy doing my video introduction and I missed it. Ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I took it on the
Oh, you on like the break of the previous 30 minutes or something, or prior to that?
yes,
Yeah, I
on
missed the
the
option, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I made
yeah.
a mistake.
So at 8, I know I took it at 8. I took it at 8. We had a nice hour close or 7 your time.
7, yeah.
Yeah. Then we pulled back up, so we came back to the hourly level. And I thought, okay, this is a nice place to take a shot, get
Yep.
a good entry. And
Mm-hmm.
then once we come back, I'm expecting obviously seeing the previous hours for us to continue down. Once we come back, start making at least a lower wick.
Yep.
I can manage my trade and see where we go from there. I'm already in a couple pips of profit. So
Absolutely beautiful work. It's
yeah,
something that I looked at instantly. And the only reason, you know what, I was going to press sell in this candle. In essence, it had already created a high wick. I was going to press it, but this video that I'm doing now is something I'm going to be doing for YouTube as well. So what I've done at the start, I turned it on, which was, I don't know, 20 past, quarter past, or something like that. Did like a little kind of introduction, explaining what I'm doing, same as I did last week, right?
okay.
So I thought if we have any cool conversations, I might as well post it on there as well for helping others. So I was talking about it, and I was thinking about it before I started talking, and I was like, I'm going to do this if we start to push down any further than where we were, which was about halfway up the previous candle wick at that point. We were kind of halfway up there, and I was kind of around 788 ish. I was watching it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to do that, but I got carried away talking in my fucking like thingy, and I looked, and it had already started to move, and I was like, shit, I wanted to be in before 7:30, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like now, so I wanted to be in before now. I finished, and then I had to get the link and create the link to Center Zoom, to Center Slack, and then I was like, damn it, and I knew someone would be like, I'm in it already. I may have gone a bit earlier, to be honest, if I had a chance. I wasn't up earlier. But I've missed the option here. I don't want to just jump in for the sake of it. I might have made a bit of a mistake here, but great job, bro. Honestly, it's exactly what I'll be looking to do. And in essence, I would be closing out based on how much have I made, or is it worth it? I won't be trying to hold all day, all session, or whatever. But depending on what your objectives are, then cool,
No,
cool,
I'm
bro.
I'm almost out. I think my TP is at 6:45. I'm looking at what's happening now, really. Probably gonna let this. I try also not to overmanage, which I've done in the
Yeah,
past.
for real.
So I
Yeah.
try and say like, okay, just let this 15-minute play out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sensible.
then
And
see
that's
where we
that's the
are.
thing. As long as you know, if you're, I'm not worried too much about. I mean, this could go all morning, bro. You could keep going all day.
Yeah,
But that's where we can kind of get carried away sometimes, right? So, as long as you've got something in mind, whether it's a hitting an area you might be concerned about, whether it's a financial figure number, depending on the risk you've put in there, as long as you've got something in mind, we're not just now playing it willy-nilly for the sake of playing it.
yeah,
That's where the failures are, right? Because we put ourselves in a great position, then we kind of balls it up in most cases, what most people do, right? By overcomplicating things, but if this does this, or if that does this, it's like, but if you've already met your objective, which might be a financial figure, which might be an area of interest left that might be dangerous, and it starts to react, or whatever it might be, and this will be based on your own individual analysis of the situation, right? So everyone will have different views. So there's not really like we said before, it's not a paintbrush that paints across all of it and it works for everyone, right? So whatever you're comfortable with now, best thing about it, mate, put yourself in a great position now, manage accordingly, and don't let it become a negative. Oh, I wish I did this. You get me? So,
yeah,
I should have closed here, but I decided to see what happened because it was nearly 8 o'clock, or it was nearly this. So don't put yourself in them positions, because if it doesn't go in your favor, you could turn around and kick yourself, unless you're happy with that and you're like, what, I'm going to give it a shot, see what's up, and be cool with it. But start of the week or early in the week, if you've got a good chance to put yourself in a good position, you could think about holding longer. You could do this, you could do this. But I always refer back to, I should probably stick to my original idea, always, because that's normally the one that I would have been happy with, right? So if it worked out and did what I wanted it to do, laughing. If I know after the event I could have held it longer, cool, I still made a good job of it. I could have held it longer today. Cool, maybe I can use that to my advantage another day. You see what I mean? Things like that. So great job, bro. Lovely to hear.
yeah. I've recently upped my lot size. Been doing all right the last couple of months at least. I've not been
Yep.
losing. So one of the things I wanted to accomplish by upping my lot size is being more focused on the monetary.
being valued.
amount,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So I
Because
opted,
which is what it's about, right?
yeah,
We're all here for the right reason, which we all know legitimately it's always been about making income. But we've got to put ourselves in a good position before we can even get there, right?
so
So
I opted to the point where now it's not, I'm still not big bucks, but I'm risking 150
yeah, something that's
on a
relative
trade.
to you
So I know
is
I have this amount where once I get to 100,
mm,
right, I can be comfortable,
yeah, you can be
stepping out
yeah,
because it's an amount that means enough for me that okay, this is 100 euros, like
yeah,
that's
100%, bro. It's the
right.
same as what we say with the boys, some of the other guys. Like, it's got to be the same for the loss. It's got to be enough that hurts you to an extent where you're going to take it seriously enough to be
Yeah,
like, yo, bro, it's all
yeah,
right smashing in with 0.001 lots and saying I'm just trying it out. It's good from a learning perspective if you're doing that. Yes, understood that. But when we actually get to that, let's start trying to be trading a bit more because we all know the reason is to make income, right? It's not about 0.001 lots back in 2 years from now because we need to be making some form of income. Otherwise, I waste my time here. So it's got to be relevant later, which is where you're at, right? But it's got to hurt to an extent where you're going to take it seriously enough not to do dumb shit. So that also, helps in other areas, doesn't it? Like with overtrading and stuff like that. And without you even trying, even though you probably didn't have an overtrading issue, it is something that would clearly impact that, right? Because if I already lost $300 this morning, man's like, easy now, just calm down. You see,
yeah,
it's just natural. And the same thing when you take a shot that might have been for previously, I'm only making $20 here. If you can now close and you're seeing like $75, $80, $100, whatever it might be, it's because all the hard work you're putting in the background is worth it, and it's like a reward for all the hard work, which is brilliant. And then you can take that away, which is why now it's even more important if you get into an area that might be dangerous for you and you need to act, and then you watch it go all the way back and you lose $20, but you're up 100, let's say, or something. That's
yeah,
when it becomes like shit, bro. You know, that's when it becomes a bit more relevant. You get me? So yeah, I'm glad you have, man. It's nice. I think when people progress at the right rate to put themselves in that position, it's a good thing in it. It's not when you just wake up, I'm going to start trading day one. I'm going out there with big lot sizes. Yeah, that's where you're going to lose your ass because we all fuck it up. So, and that's good to hear, bro. I'm glad. So now, are you finding that like you're taking it more? I know you took it seriously previously,
yeah.
but are you now finding it like you take it more serious naturally?
Well, I'm out by the way. I
Yeah,
got
good
kicked out
job.
at 100, so I'm
Good
good.
job. Well done for that.
Well,
Great play.
I think you start reflecting and looking back on your trades and looking at your journal,
Yeah.
and then you start looking at the break-even trades you have,
Yep.
and like a lot of them, like you're up, I don't know, you're up a decent amount of pips considering what you want. So maybe you're
Yeah.
50%
The
of the
what
way,
could have
you're
been trades, right?
70% of the way. But if
Mm,
at that point, apparently, when it said 30 euros, 40 euros, that
not
wasn't
enough, right?
enough. You're like, that's really not gonna, that's not
Yeah,
even gonna move the needle.
I used to say back in the day, it's like that's what I could find down the back of the sofa, right? So it's not really
Yeah,
relevant.
yeah,
But then it's like shit, I left that's in the bit in the middle of my car. And you're like, it's there, right? It's not massively important. And I mean,
yeah.
that'll be different for everyone, right? So, some people it might be $100, it might be $20, it might be $1,000, depending on people's so it can be relative to the individual, right?
But
So as
over
long
the
as the
course over the
individual
course of a
finds
month
what,
or a year,
yeah,
those are
bro,
the difference between having, a good
real
month,
talk.
a good year.
If you were to turn around and be like, I was to give you $20 every day or every 2 days or every 3 days
Yeah,
for the rest of the year, you'd be like, yeah, I'm good. I'll take it. You're
yeah,
never going to say no, but it just seems a bit odd. We all have this natural ability to fuck it up on purpose, even though we might be up $20, $30. But people forget the long term growth of this. Now, this trade that you were in, right? You should be super happy with what you've done. Like I said, it could go all morning, bro. You get me? And if it goes all morning, that's where I used to be. I look back and be like, man, I should have held that. Nah, bro, you made a good decision at the time, right?
yeah,
When we look later, if this goes down another, goes down to let's say 108, well, like 187 or something,
yeah,
you'd be like, motherfucker, I was in that. So you're £100 up. That's the job. I go do the same thing tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday, whatever it's going to be. And that's where it won't have to be every day if you're using the right relevant figure because it might make €200 this week doing two trades or something because I took my
yeah,
time and
yeah,
it's cool, bro. And that's where life can change dramatically. That's all your bills paid for, saying, it's where people need to take it serious in that respect and not chase the money or chase the trade or, do things that are relevant to the scenario. Now, it might go all morning. Yeah, you might be annoyed that you were in it, but that weren't the play, bro. You weren't taking the trade now to think, you know what, I'm going to try and hold this all the way to wherever it might be. And this is why at this time, it's like, I'm happy with the trade. I'll journal my situation now. say, look, I did A, B, C, D, E, post a picture up, whatever it is, put it in my journal and be done, bro. I ain't even going to sit here and look. And if I come back tomorrow and then look again and go, shit, man, I went all day. All that's doing is giving me information that, that could give me some information for tomorrow's ideas, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't take away. I've followed what I planned this morning, did exactly what I expect to do, managed to take some money out of the market. Man's a good day. That's it. Done. End of it.
I think the other side personally hurts me more. So if I'm in a trade where I knew I could have secured, and then it goes back to break even, right? At least if I break, then I'm sour. So I'm like, I had
more
something
annoyed.
and I give it away, and that carries for me. That carries over, right? That I take that with me into my next session or the rest of the week because you're trying to get that back.
Correct. I am by far, and this is again something that people don't appreciate at the beginning so much until they've gone through this a lot, because they don't have history of things like you've just said. How many times this month, year, whatever, have I been up $20, $30 and fucking in essence balls it up and end up at break even or minus 20 quid or what? You get me? They're the things we don't have at the beginning. That only comes from months and years of work where you can look back at my own shit and be like, you know what? I'm still improving as an individual, but there's so many times this year I could have closed when I saw, and I could have done this, and I could have done. That's the experience growing. You can't buy that, and that's where you start to act better because of experience only, and because you know how it'll annoy you, right? Like now, it's moved another 4 or 5 bits. Like, that's another $20 or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
We can't think like that, but it could have just been the same the other way around. So this is why realistically I set myself a financial figure because I'm using the right figure outlay in the first place. I would be comfy. If it move 8, 10, 12, 15, 20 bits, whatever it is, it makes me 2, 3, 4, $500. I'm cool with that. But it could have made me 20 grand if I held it all morning. It ain't no biggie. It doesn't matter because the job is to slowly build as we move, keep going, keep going. But let's be clear, who's complaining about profit? We're talking about making profits, right? We're moaning about the things that a lot of people can't do. Oh shit, I should have held it longer. Yeah, I still made 100 quid, but I'm still bitching. But like you said, the ones that are more painful, the ones where I could have closed at $100, whatever it might be in your case, and I didn't act and I didn't do anything, and that's where risk reward and stuff doesn't become as relevant to me because it's about the financial application from a P&L business perspective. For me to make money, I've got to be able to do exactly that, and I want to lose as minimal as possible. It doesn't mean I'm not going to lose, but what I want to do is limit my losses, maximize my upside as best as possible, so manage accordingly and be strict with it. But then on top of that, when I'm in a position of profitability, make sure I'm doing something about that, whether it's today. Got yesterday the option to push up to the high resistances. I only offered like 5, 6 pips until we got there, so it could react. But taking a trade, which I posted up yesterday, it gave me the option to get there. That wasn't the trade. If it got there and continued, it's going to be worth my time. It didn't. It started to pull back from resistance. I had to close in a very small minus, that was fine. I was comfy with that. So I know the downside there is it's acceptable, if that makes sense. It wasn't my managerial position. It wasn't my stop. It was before both of them. But we'd already been up to the area that I thought may well be like dangerous. It was only 3, 4, 5 pips. It wasn't worth financially for me to close at that point. So I left it to see what happened. Then it pulled back a little bit deep with the next hour, and then I closed because I'm not going to hold drawdown for the sake of holding drawdown because it might work out. I could give myself a second opportunity later on if needs be. And unfortunately, yesterday I didn't get time because I was leaving the charts, but it did give me that opportunity later. If I sat there for another hour or so, as we all saw, would have been fine. So I would have been pleased with the decision of I've closed in a small minus, even though I've been up 4 or 5 pips, because the scenario was, in essence, breaking through. It's not really a good example today because it's a bit messy, but it was pretty much like if you're breaking through a situation where you got a target level with let's say a candle wick or resistance area here, we had the option to push from here to this position. It was maybe 3 to 5 pips, right? Wasn't really worth it financially. But the idea was to continue past there. What it didn't do is do this and it did that. And then at that point, I'm going to close the situation. So I'm good. Tomorrow, that might be 23, 25 pips to that situation. You get me? And I might get halfway to it and it's worth it financially. Same as today. So that's where you got to weigh it up, I think, in long term. So either way, cracking job, bro. Oh, it's nice to hear. I'm glad you progressed to a point where you feel like you're comfy enough to, step it up a little bit.